Is there such thing as bad prayer? I don't like that question. Like, well, why'd you ask that question? Well, because it got your attention. Hey, I'm Father Mark Mary with Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. I do think there is such thing as bad prayer. We're talking about like praying for something that we just should not be praying for at all, particularly something sinful. Or when there's like just really no attempt. So you will call it prayer, but there's really no attempt at prayer. Is there such thing as imperfect prayer? Yeah. Does that imply that prayer can be improved? Yeah. So does that seem like a good thing to explore? How can we improve our prayer? Absolutely. I'm going to talk about improving our prayer in 3 ways. Number 1, a deeper reflection on the heart of Jesus, on who God is, a deeper attentiveness, and a deeper sharing of our own hearts. It's kind of the nature of like some of our spiritual reading and prayer. There can be a lot of talking to God. There can be a lot of thinking about God. But really, I think kind of a primary object of our prayer, a primary focus of our prayer should be like who God is. Like, who are you, Lord? And a really like deep pondering of that, and a really deep sitting with this question and searching for God, who are you? Show me your face. Show me your heart. To do this, I think a most privileged place of prayer is Lectio Divina. It's in Scripture in which we have this privileged access to God and who He is, and He reveals Himself to us most beautifully. And so there's all these sorts of other types of prayer and devotions and things like that, but really we do want to have, I think, the core and at the heart of our prayer, praying with Scripture, reading Scripture, studying Scripture, and pondering Scripture, and really asking these questions and doing the search. God, who are you? Who are you? Show me your face. Show me your heart. If this is the core of our prayer, this is a really good place to be. Secondly, right, going deeper in our attention, deeper in our meditation, deeper in our like reflection. You know, there's just a reality. The world we live in, sometimes it's hard to pay attention. It's hard to focus. We're often distracted. We're often super tired. If that's where you're at, come where you're at. Come as you are to the Lord. But also, like, it's okay if we want to like grow in these areas. Like, if you are always falling asleep in prayer, I don't want you to like piously be like, well, this is how I am, and St. Therese did it, and so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna come and like have pious napping with Jesus and call it prayer. And like, it's like, okay, well, if that's if that's just like what life is offering you because you're a parent, because of some health stuff, because whatever, okay. But also, like, it would be better if you had control of it, and I realize not everyone does, like, if you could actually be attentive to prayer. And so the invitation, like, if you're always falling asleep in prayer, like you can't pay attention, hey, let's look at our lifestyle. Like, what are you doing and why are you doing it that you're so tired and you can't sit before the Lord at all? Is it the time of day that you're praying? Or if you're so distracted, you just can't focus at all, your mind's going all these different places. Okay, maybe that's just how your mind's gonna work, and this is just, you have to accept that and offer it. But also, maybe there's an invitation for growing in focus. Maybe there's an invitation to root out those things in your life that are causing you to be all over the place. One of my favorite quotes is St. Charles Borromeo talking to a priest who's like, hey, you're always complaining about how you're so distracted in prayer. Like, what were you just doing in the sacristy? Understanding that, like, his prayer is offered in the Mass, in some sense, the attentiveness was imperfect, but also because he's just like chit-chatting about sports in the sacristy. You're like, come on, man. And so friends, like, if you're super distracted, if you can't focus, if you can't stay awake, like, maybe part of the invitation is like, hey, let's grow our attentiveness, our receptivity, by paying attention and sort of seeing if we can make some adjustments. Thirdly is going deeper in our sharing of the heart. We really want to bring to the Lord in our prayer, like our heart, certainly our love, affection, our adoration, our fears, our concerns, our weakness, our anxieties, our deep, deep desires. Like, again, like we don't want just to limit our prayer to thinking about God, to reading things about God. We want to know who He is, and we really want to receive deeply His heart, as we talked about with Lectio Divina. Part of the foundation which can allow us to receive this deeply is this deeper capacity for like attentiveness, for paying attention, for concentrating. And then what do we want to respond with is like, Lord, here's my heart, here's who I am, here's what's happening, and really bringing it to Him, especially in the real stuff of our life. Here's my concerns because of this thing or that thing. Here's why I'm so anxious about this or that, Lord. Like, here it is. Here's what I want. Here's what I'm afraid of, and really deeply sharing our hearts. And so this is just some encouragement. I do, again, like a lot of folks, it's not helpful to talk about improving prayer because they can just get so overly concerned and like judgmental about their own prayer, and it can kind of stunt the way they come to the Lord. But also there is just like, hey, you know what? If prayer is struggling and you want it to kind of look a little different, you want to go a little bit deeper, you want, again, to have some more consistency, a deeper encounter with God, a deeper sharing of your own heart, a deeper attentiveness, like, that's okay too. That's okay too. And feel free to ask the Lord, like, Lord, where do you want me to go deeper? Where do you want to do this? Where do you want to go deeper? Of course, prayer first and foremost is His work and His initiative. So we always want to bring it to Him, ask for His grace. But also let's see if there's an invitation to a deeper conversion at the service of deeper prayer. All right, friends, thanks so much for joining me and praying with me in general. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. Remember, we are pilgrims on this earth. Somos peregrinos poco a poco, little by little. Vamos a llegar. God bless you. So I'm going to talk about improving our prayer in three ways. I am Father Mark Mary with Franciscan Friars of the Renewal, and this is Ascension Presents. The question is, am I where I'm supposed to be? Okay.